I am going to walk through how to solve all the problems on the study guide so you guys can check your work. So this one says, Mrs. Ward needs to read 60 books this year. She has already read 2 books a week for 5 weeks. How many books does she still need to read? So we need to think about what is important. 60 books this year. She has already read 2 books a week for 5 weeks. How many books does she still need to read? Okay, so I know that I'm going to start with her 60 books because that's her goal. I know that she is going to subtract because we still need. How much does she still need? That's going to tell me that it's subtraction. And she's already read 2 books for 5 weeks. So we need to subtract what she's already read. And we know we need to figure out how much she's read first. So I'm going to use parentheses. 2 books a week for 5 weeks. 2 books times 5. Okay, so that's your expression. And then if I was going to solve it, I'm going to use that order of operations. 2 times 5 is 10. Bring down everything else. 60 minus 10 is 50, so your answer is 50. Number 2, shirts at Target are usually $15. The price has been reduced by $4. How much would 3 of those shirts cost now? So we know the normal price when they're not on sale is $15. We know that it's on sale, so they are $4 less because reduced means less. And the question is, how much would 3 of those shirts cost now? 3 shirts cost now, so at the sale price. So I'm going to start with, I know I need to figure out what the shirts cost now because that's what we need to know. So the regular price is $15 reduced by 4. So I'm going to subtract that $4. Notice that I'm remembering those dollar signs, and those dollar signs go before. $15 minus $4. But I am buying 3 of these shirts, so I'm going to multiply that times 3. Okay, so again, here's my expression. I didn't solve it, but now I am going to solve it. In order of operations, parentheses comes first. $15 minus $4. That gives me $11. Bring everything else down. $11 times 3 would be $33. Okay. Frankie the dog eats 2 bones in the morning and 3 in the evening. How many bones would she eat over 6 days? What's important? She eats 2 bones in the morning and 3 in the evening. Okay. How many bones would she eat over 6 days? 6 days. All right. So we need to figure out, in order for us to figure out how many she eats in 6 days, we need to figure out how many she eats in 1 day. So that would be 2 bones plus 3 bones. But we need to do that first, so we need to make sure we use parentheses. And then how many bones would she eat over 6 days? So this would tell us 1 day. We need to multiply it by 6 to figure out for 6 days. 2 plus 3, because that's what's done in the parentheses first, is 5. Bring everything else down. 5 times 6 is 30. So Frankie eats 30 bones over 6 days. The marching band has 21 flutes, 15 clarinets, and 24 drummers. They line up in rows of 6. How many rows of musicians are there? Again, this might be a good one to use a picture if you need to, but I feel comfortable doing this without a picture. I know that the number of instruments, 21, 15, and 24, is important, and I need to know that they are in rows of 6. How many rows of musicians are there? So I need to, in order for me to figure out how many rows there are, and me to divide them into rows of 6, I have to figure out how many total. So I have to add them all up first. 21 plus 15 plus 24. Now that gives me the total amount of musicians, and now I can divide them into rows of 6. I can figure out how many rows of musicians are there. So I know that 21 plus 24 plus 15, that's the way I like to think of it. 21 plus 24 is 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. So then I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. You could also then just add it up on the side if you're unsure. That's okay too. Lots of different ways to do this. Okay, 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 4 is 10. Carry the 1. 2 plus 2 is 4. 5, 6. That gives us 60. Divided by 6, you bring everything else down. 6 divided by 6 is 10. So 10 rows of 6 musicians. All right, these next two, we're just going to go ahead and solve the expressions using order of operations. We're going to do what's inside the parentheses first. 10 plus 20 is 30. Now I can divide. 30 divided by 5 equals 6. Again, solve using order of operations. 10 plus 20 divided by 5. I know that division in the order of operations comes before addition, so I'm going to do 20 divided by 5 first. That gives me 4. Bring everything else down. 10 plus 4 is 14. Again, solving this expression using order of operations. So parentheses always come first. So I'm going to 1 plus 3 is 4. Bring everything else down. Now we have division and multiplication. Now because in order of operations, when we have division and multiplication together, we work from left to right. So we're going to do 12 divided by 4 is 3. Bring everything else down. 3 times 2 is 6. So the answer is 6. What operation would you do first in the following expression? 50 times 12 plus 30 minus 4 divided by 2 plus 3. Do not solve, just give an operation. So I know in order of operations, I have to do the parentheses first. Well, great. But inside the parentheses, I have 3 different operations. So now, okay, there's no more parentheses. We don't do exponents. Multiplication or division then come before addition or subtraction. So I see that there's a division problem. So I'm going to do division first. Okay. Write an expression to match the statement. 8 plus 2, then multiplied by 3. Okay. So 8 plus 2, then multiplied by 3. Now, because order of operations says we do multiplication first, this one says then multiply by 3. They want us to add first and then multiply. So we need those parentheses. The value of 8 times 12 is blank. The value of 8 times 12 plus 3. Remember the strategy. What is different? This one is 8 times 12. This one is 8 times 12. Whoops, I have this one is 3 more than this. So now we need to make sense of which one of these makes sense in our sentence. The value of 8 times 12 is equal to the value of 8 times 12 plus 3? No, that would mean they're the same, and that's not true. Is the value of 8 times 12 3 times bigger, larger, 3 times as large as the value? Nope, this one, 8 times 12 is not bigger than this one. Is 8 times 12 3 less than the value of 8 times 12 plus 3? That seems like it might make sense. Let's see what the next one is. Is the value of 8 times 12 3 more than the value? No. This one is actually 3 times less. This one is 3 times more. So if we use process of elimination, we only have 2 to think about which one makes the most sense. This one is actually 3 less. Again, the value of 3,216 plus 54 times 5 is blank to 3,216 plus 54. We're going to look at what is different. Both have 3,216 plus 54. This times 5 is what's different. So now, are they equal? No. Is 3,216 plus 54 times 5, 54 less? No, we didn't subtract 54. Is 3,216 plus 54 times 5 times as large? Yes. Let's just double check that's correct. Is this 3,216 plus 54 times 5, 3,216 more? No. So this one is our correct answer. Write an equation to represent the problem. Use a letter for the unknown amount. WBO buys 3 new microphone systems that each cost $250 and a new whiteboard that costs $500. The store gives the school $100 off. How much did WBO pay? So they buy 3 microphone systems that each cost $250. That's important. And there's that addition, a whiteboard that costs $500. The store gives the school, WBO, $100 off. So that means they take off $100 from the price. So we want to know how much did WBO pay. So first, I know that we need to do some sort of multiplication because they bought 3 microphone systems for $250 and addition, a new whiteboard that costs $500. Okay. I'm going to put parentheses around that because I need to know how much they're going to pay first and then take off that $100 discount. We don't have to solve it, we're just writing the equation. Now, I put parentheses around this because all 3 operations because this needs to be done first before we subtract. Almost done. Use your understanding of place value to answer the question below. 3,641,609. The 6 in the 100,000s place is blank times greater than the 6 in the hundreds place. So this is where we're going to remember that each time you move a place value to the left, we go 10 times greater. So 6 times 10, and the next place value is times 10. The next place value is times 10. So times 10. 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 10 is 1,000. So the answer would be 1,000 times greater. Which value matches the statement? This is an 8-digit number. So 8-digit number. 1 digit is a 3, and its value is 100 times as much as another digit that is a 3. So it looks like all of them are 8-digit numbers. So that one, okay, great, we're done. 1 digit is a 3, and its value is 100 times as much as another digit that is a 3. Okay, so let's see, we're going to compare the 3s. Well, this one times 10, times 100, times 1,000, times 10,000. Well, that one doesn't work. We're going to compare these 2 3s. Times 10, 10 times 10 is 100. Well, that one works. Let's just double check the rest of them. This has 2 3s, but they're only 10 times apart. And this one has 2 3s. This is times 10 times greater, 100 times greater, 1,000 times greater. So B is our answer. What number is 100 times less than 8,000? So if I have 8,000, I'll write this a little bigger for you. Remember that when you go left, it's 10 times greater. You multiply by 10, but when you go to the right, it is dividing by 10. So we need to go divide by 10. And then divide by 10 again, that would be divide by 100. So 2 place values less, that would be 80. And lastly, we need an 8-digit number. We're creating a number that's 8 digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we know that every 3 there's a comma. So we have our hundreds, our thousands, and our millions. Has the digit 5 in 2 places. One of the 5s needs to be 1,000 times more than the other 5. Okay, So it doesn't really matter where you put the 5s. There's lots and lots of different answers for this. I'm going to put my first 5 in my tens place, and I am just going to make another 5 that is 1,000 times more. So I know times 10, times 100, times 1,000. Each one is times 10 greater. Times 10. 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 10 is 1,000. So I know the 5 goes here. Otherwise, it really doesn't matter what numbers you fill in. So I'm just going to say 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm skipping 5. I don't want to confuse myself. 6, 7. You could put 1s in all of them. It doesn't really matter as long as it is a number that makes sense for 8 digits. Okay, so you could put a 1 and then zeros in the rest of them. All right, great job, everyone.